Hello, my name is Sin Bagley, and today is April 22nd, 2022, and I am doing my daily I Ching practice with Paul O'Brien's Visionary I Ching. First, I take 3 deep breaths. Then I cast the coin 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Today is the Hexagram 64, nearing completion, and it's the only one I got today, so let's take a look at it. Nearing completion. The situation is incomplete, but the chaos of the past is giving way to order. The goal is in sight. Nevertheless, you are still treading on thin ice. Though the way ahead is unobstructed and the goal is clear, a cautious and careful attitude is still important lest you slip and fall. Nearing completion is the last hexagram of the I Ching. It suggests that the ever-spinning wheel of life never reaches a final conclusion, just as hidden sadness resides in the heart of true euphoria, just as seeds of amazing achievement can sprout from the cauldron of adversity. No end is ever really completely without a new beginning stirring inside it. We may divide life into categories to understand and manage it, but experience itself is seamless. The Tao's 64-spoked, timeless wheel of change is ready to spin onward, ever evolving, ever staying the same. The situation represented by this reading can be compared to making a long, lengthy trek over a high mountain. At some point before reaching the peak, you can see in detail exactly how much far you have to travel. You have a good idea of what it will take to reach the top because of the climbing experience you've accumulated thus far. However, when you do reach the peak, which has been in sight for quite a long period of sustained effort, you will have done only that. You will have reached the top and achieved your initial goal, but you still must ascend the other side. This critical segment is what remains before completion. Consider, too, the possibility that you have little information and no experience of what it's like descending the other side of the mountain because all your attention has been focused on the path going up. The coming situation may seem very strange to you, unlike anything that you have experienced before, but the other side of the mountain is where the true mysteries reside. Proceed carefully, cautiously, and alertly, and you will arrive honorably at the completion of your goal. This particular hexagram reminds me of when I was working on my bachelor's degree. The first time I tried to get my degree, I was in my early 20s, and I just didn't have enough money. I couldn't do it. So eventually I went into the military, and I came out of the military with a GI Bill. So at the time I started my degree, I was about 38 years old. And it's very different looking at getting a degree at 38 as it is getting a degree at 20. So I actually mapped out what I had to do in the minimum amount of time, and I reached my goal because of the previous classes I took in my 20s. I reached my goal in about 2 years, but that took a lot of sustained effort, and when I reached the top of that, it was exhilarating to see that I had received this piece of paper that I had worked so hard to obtain. And at that point, I started my master's degree. I wanted to work in adult education. And talking about going to the other side, of the mountain, that's when my whole life fell apart. That was when became extremely ill and with a rare chronic illness. And because of this, I wrote a lot. And I eventually started to publish books, which is a totally different goal than I had previously thought that I would do. I think that life is a series of hills and mountains, and that as much as we think we know where we're going, it's always a bit of a surprise. Not when we get there, but when we finish what we have to do and we realize what comes next. Anyway, just remember to enjoy this burst of completion, because it means you have something to celebrate. And then realize that it's not the end of everything, it's just a new beginning. And have a great day.